railroad. This week we are going to do something just a little bit different. We're going to be starting a structure build series. This will be number 1. Something I've wanted to build along the way, just for something different to do, and I always enjoy building models. So with that being said, let's head on over to the bench and I'll show you what we're going to be working on. All right, so we're going to be building this kit, and I'll explain in a upcoming segment here in just a second how I got to wanting to build this, but this is what we're going to be putting together this week, at least part 1. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 parts to this. Today we'll get it cut off the sprues and get some paint on it and get it ready to start building, and then next week we'll probably start the building process. So I want to start off with a couple of tools that you're going to need for building a building like this or a model kit. Of course, you're going to need some glue. I've been using this Tamiya extra thin cement. It's a brush-on liquid. It's actually a solvent, and it melts the plastic together. Same thing as the Model Master glue. If you can find this anywhere, you can use that. I found this other glue that's in the same style bottle as the Testors Model Master, but it's Testors non-toxic liquid cement for plastic models. I don't like it as well. It doesn't set up quickly, and it's just not that great. It doesn't hold that great. So I don't recommend using this. Use either the Model Master, or I really like this. You can also use, which I've used in some of my past videos, the Plastruck plastic weld. That works the same as the Tamiya. It's good stuff. It's hot, it works fast, and it holds. So we'll be using that. A couple other tools you're going to need. An X-Acto knife with a brand new blade. If you have sprue cutters, they're great. They cut really nice and flat. So you want sprue cutters. You're going to need some different grit files. These I got at Hobbytown. This is an extra fine, and then I've got a fine. And I think in my tools over there, I might even have a medium one. You're going to need some sandpaper. This is 150 grit. This works real well. I'll show you what we're going to be using that for. You can see it's been used, but that's a good grit to have for what we're going to be doing. And then let me show you this other thing I got when I was doing Vinny's scratch build class. I'll show you. This works really well for putting walls together. You don't have to have it, but it helps, and I will grab that and show you. Before I get to that other thing that we need, I wanted to mention this. Testors, this is a glue that is for windows, and Window Maker. It's Clear Parts Cement and Window Maker. This is great because for gluing the windows in, it doesn't fog the window glass. So you can accidentally get it on the window pane, and it's not going to fog it up and damage it like the other cements are going to do. So it's good to have this stuff if you can find it at the hobby shop. I believe Hobby Lobby has it, Hobbytown, some of the other hobby shops. So this is a good glue to have when you're working with that clear window material. All right, so this is a magnetic gluing jig, and it's great for assembling walls. To be sure, they're 90 degrees. So they have these magnets. You can set your walls in here, and then the magnets, of course, will stick. And you can, imagine you have your wall in here, and then you've got a 90 degree. You can hold it together, and then you can glue it. And of course, the glue won't stick to the metal. And it's just a great way to glue up 90 degree angles. Another nice tool to have, I've spoken about it before, is a 1-2-3 block. And they are great because they're true and square, and you can use them to set up and hold in your walls while they're setting, along with the magnets or however you want to do it. But they are really great to have just something to set, something heavy to set on something that you're gluing down or whatever. So 1, 2, 3 block is essential for building these models. I got mine in a kit from Amazon. I think it was less than $20, and it actually came with 2 of them and some screws and a wrench for if you were using it like on machinery or something and you needed to screw things to it or whatever. But pretty neat kit for I think around 20 bucks. So you may recall when I was up at the train shop in Arvada a couple months ago, one of the things I picked up was this Roomette's set, and it's specifically for, let's see here, fits Woodland Scenics DPM 10100, Kelly Saloon, Big Deal Pawn, U.S. Postal Office. Well, I have a postal office on my layout. Let's just take a look here. I spoke about this before. That's right here. This is the U.S. Postal Office building. And I think I recall telling you guys that when I built it, I wasn't too thrilled about how it came out. It's okay. I didn't take a lot of pains with the paint and stuff, but it's all right. But anyway, because of that, I bought another one. And when you buy it standalone, this one didn't come with the Woodland Scenics, or yeah, it would be the Grand Valley layout building kit. This one's standalone, so this was actually the number 10100 Kelly's Saloon. So I just bought it thinking I would replace this, but I'm actually thinking now I might build it, put the Roomette in it, and then use it somewhere on the layout, or replace this with it, or have a swap out or something. This one I put some dividers in. Still haven't gotten around to lighting those buildings. So the only detail I did on this was put a transfer decal over the door for an address. But anyway, I thought for a change of pace and just doing something different, I'd start building this kit just for fun. So we'll start by taking the sprues apart, taking those off, get everything laid out and ready for paint, and then we'll figure out what paint we want to use. And we'll go from there. I think that'll be a fun little project just to put together. Always like building models, so I think I'll start on that, and then we can figure out the Roomettes together. There's a lot of instructions on that, but that'll be fun. We'll figure out how to do the Roomettes. So let's start on this. All right, we'll just dump everything out here and see what we've got first off. Get it all out of the package needed, but there's the roof. Here's the window material, and let's see, here's some stuff for the roof braces. The second set of instructions, that's interesting because the back has instructions there, and then here is a second set of instructions included, so that's interesting. So, okay, here's all the pieces. So, I've got my sprue cutters. I'll get my nice, sharp, brand new X-Acto blade out, and we'll get everything cut off the sprues and get all this stuff cleaned off, the chimney parts and everything. We'll get everything separated and ready to go. All right, so I've got everything separated with the exception of these little chimney pieces. Now, I did trim off the extra, but it's good to leave it on this tree here because it'll make painting easier and it'll make it easier to handle. The only thing I want to do, I tried to trim off a little bit of this extra plastic on the back of these two because these have to glue flatly onto the back of the chimney face, so we don't want anything sticking up. So what I'm going to do, I've got a piece of sandpaper here that you can see I've used before, and there are also some things on the walls that you want to sand, like the bottom you want to put on there, make sure it's flat and sand it flat, and also some of the side walls where they join other walls. Now, the way you can tell is if you look very closely, And I don't know if you can see, but there are no brick patterns on here. So this is the side that's going to get glue, and it's actually going to be glued onto the front facade. This side has the brick pattern in it. And again, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a brick pattern. So obviously you don't want to sand that. We want to sand the other side and the bottom. So we'll do that on these two building sides, the front and back, and a couple of these other things. I still need to get some of the plastic trimmed off, and we'll be good to start thinking about paint. Okay, I've got all the parts pretty well sanded off. The bottoms are all sanded off good. The sides that needed it are good. You have to watch some of the walls. You have to really look. Will they'll be cast at an angle, and you can't have that. It has to be flat, 90 degrees. Can't have a 45 degree or an angle. Some of them will have that. These didn't, so it was real easy to just sand and smooth out. So they're ready to go. Going to take them upstairs to the kitchen sink, wash them with soap and water. Then we'll take them out to the shop and we'll select some paints to use. I kind of like, they've got sort of a bluish gray here for the bottom part, a tan sort of brick color, a little different than what I've got here. I had red brick on the front, sort of a brown brick on the side. Maybe the building was painted at one point. This one is consistent side and front, so maybe we'll try to find something, and we'll do a little bit of taping here so that the bottom part will be something close to this blue, maybe a green, and the top part, and then the sides will be like a beige or a brick color. We'll go see what kind of paints we have. Well, out here in the shop, I taped off the facade front part to look sort of like this, and I'm going ahead and painting these two this sort of blue color that I had. It's a Krylon. Thought I'd just go a little wild this time, and it's kind of close to this. It's a little bit more sky blue than that, but it's going to be kind of cool. And then we'll go a red oxide primer for the brick. We'll shoot that next. All right, so I shot the red oxide primer for the brick, and the only thing left to do will be, after this dries, remove the tape. Then we're going to tape the other part off, or even just use a piece of cardstock or something, just cover it and shoot that part with the red oxide for the front. So we'll essentially have this, we've got to do that, and then we're going to have to hand paint the trimmer on the windows. But other than that, pretty much ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and let this dry now, and then I'll do that other part, and then we'll go from there. All right, I just finished taping up the blue part now, and I decided that I'm going to go with another color. I kind of like to go with 3 colors on my buildings. This is a warm caramel color. It's a Rust-Oleum I've used before, but I think it'll look neat with the sides being brick. Of course, I'll paint the door brown, may do the window trim, something different. There's the blue that'll be the front, but this part of the building will be this caramel brown, almost like what they have here. Then the sides will be this brick. So it'll look like, over the years, the front has been painted. Because these buildings were built around the turn of the century, so 1800s into 1900s. So they've had a lot of paint on them and stuff by 1965. So this little detail, these little cement cornices or whatever they call these things, I'll be painting the tops of those a different color. By hand. We might do some of the window work there, but that'll be caramel brown, red on the sides, blue on the front. So I've got it taped up. Let's shoot that, and then we're ready to take it downstairs and start on assembly. about all I'm gonna do. I don't want to overdo it, and I want it to dry quickly, so I think that's it. All right, well, that is all we have time for this week. We will take on part 2 next week, where we'll actually start gluing up some stuff and getting the structure together. I want to thank all you new subscribers and all you very loyal watchers that always like and comment and ask questions and stuff like that. Really appreciate that. I'm still, just a side note, still working with the number 315 locomotive. Hope to make some progress with that, but we'll get into that on another video. Just want to say thank you for watching, and we will talk to you next update. Take care.